Thank you, Pastor Greer. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Lieutenant Trey Harrington. I will be your MC this afternoon, and on behalf of the entire department, we welcome you to the annual Hartland-Deerfield Fire Authority's award ceremony. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We're honored to have you here with us. Before I introduce Chief Carroll, I have a few housekeeping items as always. As we are in the business of safety, I ask that you please look around and locate your nearest emergency exit. We do have a professional photographer here this afternoon taking photos of all of the awards being presented, including individual awards. We will make sure that these are available to you electronically via our department Facebook page at some point here in the near future. We ask that you please refrain from taking any flash photography during our ceremony. If you have not already done so, please take a moment and silence your cell phones. Fire personnel, if you could silence your pagers. Following the award ceremony this afternoon, we will have light refreshments in the lobby. And with no further ado, it is my privilege and honor to introduce the Chief of the Hartland-Deerfield Fire Authority, Chief Adam Carroll.
Thanks, Trey. Good afternoon, obviously, and thank you all. We actually truly, sincerely appreciate all of you in attendance today. And being here to celebrate with us. That's what literally today is all about. So I'll get into a little bit more about that as we go. But to begin, it's our privilege to take a moment. If there are any veterans or active duty folks in the room, please stand. And if you'd remain standing for us just for a bit. Thank you. In addition to that, any retired firefighters in the room, if you would please stand. Retires. There he goes. Thank you. I can't begin to express to you our honor and pride that we thank you for your service to our country, and for our retirees, most certainly your service to our community. Thank you. For, every year it's been around. We are on I think our 6th, so coming up February 25th, our 6th consecutive year, our department will be in Detroit to participate in the American Lung Association's Fight for Air Climb. We intend to absolutely continue our tradition of all of our team members completing the climb and look forward to this year's challenge. It's a slightly different one. Frequently I will end this with a call to join them. I will have them stand in just a second here. However, I guess I'm happy to say it's actually full. There is no room. They actually filled in, I can't remember, 7 or 8 days from time of registration opened. So pretty outstanding year for that excellent event. Obviously, the American Lung Association's work with lung cancer and a variety of other lung issues is outstanding, and we appreciate everything that organization does. So, with this year's climbers, please stand. I know there's a few of you in here. There we go. Any prior climbers, if you've got a minute to stand, please. I can't remember. There's one, there, 2, 3. Holy cow, they're everywhere. If you would like to join them, sorry about your luck this year, but we look forward to seeing you next year. So thank you all. So I've had the distinct honor and privilege to be a part of this department, this family, officially since the evening of October 1st, 1986. I was actually voted on as a junior firefighter. Honestly, it seems like yesterday. Over that time, I've had the opportunity to work with many outstanding individuals who have shaped our incredibly strong team into the accomplished, successful group that we have here today. Our mission, our training, our tools are constantly changing. The constant in all of that is us, the firefighters, who are continually strive to meet the new challenges, engaging, adapting, finding new solutions where there were none, all to provide a different and a better outcome for a total stranger in need. I'm blessed to call you all family, and I mean that sincerely. I am excited about the great work that we will continue to do for our community. This afternoon is the one time a year we pause to reflect and take just a few precious minutes to do what firefighters dread, to be formally recognized and congratulated. While everything we do is a team event, we consistently perform with excellence. There are a few occasions where the uniqueness of the incident or the circumstances put the success of our performance on the line, and we formally recognize those today. In addition to those, I'm incredibly proud of the service all of us provide to our community. Your performance is recognized and appreciated daily. In fact, what we call routine daily performance is what makes this award selection process so increasingly difficult. The bar continues to get set higher and higher because of your talent and ability. While we all share in these shining moments, these career milestones with you and your families, know that I couldn't be prouder of the difficult work we do. I pray for our continued safety. I value your dedication and professionalism, and I am highly impressed with our individual and collective accomplishments. We do some great work, folks. Remember, this awards ceremony provides an opportunity to reflect on life's priorities and the difference that you make in the lives of each person in our community. You are of your own making, but make no mistake, we are all influenced in that process by the many people that we interact with through life. We call them teachers, mentors, spouses, pastors, friends, coworkers. Choose positive influences. They will have a lasting impact on you. Look for qualities like integrity, servant leader, selfless, outcome-oriented, and positive reinforcement. Personally, I'm blessed to have many of these influencers. A number of them are in this room today, including my wife, Sherry, and I don't know where she snuck in at. Another one of them is one of my bosses, and actually our next speaker. So please join me in welcoming the chairman of the board, Joe Petrucci.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Before I introduce to you the Hartland-Deerfield Fire Authority Board, and I don't know who is here tonight, and I've seen at least one, I'd like to have a moment of silence for a Hartland firefighter who passed in 2017. Art Lampy not only served the Hartland Fire Department, but in the 1990s he served as our training officer, and he was a friend to all of us. He often went beyond just being a member of the fire department. He was also involved in our community. Art chaired and he oversaw the Memorial Day Parade. And he was a liaison between the fire department and the community council. I know how hard he worked on that because I co-chaired it with him for a couple of years, and I know Jennifer Danke co-chaired it after me. But Art loved the fire department, and he loved our community, and he absolutely loved children, especially during the Christmas season, and all of you parents know exactly what I'm talking about. So in Art's memory, please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. The Hartland-Deerfield Fire Authority Board meets every fourth Thursday of the month at Station 61 on Hartland Road. They are open meetings and the public is welcome to join us. The Hartland-Deerfield Fire Authority is governed by a board comprised of representatives from the Hartland Township Board of Trustees, the Deerfield Township Board of Trustees, and one citizen at large. Please hold your applause until I introduce everybody. I don't know exactly how many are here, but I know one for sure. First, from the Deerfield Township Board of Trustees, Supervisor Al Mattioli. I don't see Al. Also from the Deerfield Township Board of Trustees, we have Treasurer Cheryl Pichel. From the Hartland Township Board of Trustees, we have Trustee Glenn Harper. And also from the Hartland Township Board of Trustees, you have me. And our citizen at large is chosen by both townships, is Bruce Danke, and I know Bruce is here. Then there's some very important people who do a lot of duties for the fire authority. One is Becky Neal. She does all of our accounting and our HR, and I know Becky is here. But Becky is going to be leaving us shortly. She is going to be retiring with her husband, and they're going to be moving out of the state. So we're going to miss her, but the lady that's taking her place, you all know, and I just want you to know that I had nothing to do with this. I didn't know she was looking for a new job. I didn't know she applied for the job. I didn't even know she interviewed for the job. But you all know her as Tanya Petruzzi. And then we have the lady that does all of our minutes for us, and sometimes that can be pretty challenging. And she's our recording secretary, and it's Jennifer Danke. So as I look back into the history of the fire department, way back on December 28th, 1927, it was over 90 years ago. In fact, we just celebrated our 90th anniversary a little over a month ago. 15 men in Hartland decided that it was time to have a fire protection service. So they did the best they could at the time, and with very little money, much of it their own, they started the Hartland Fire Department. Our first chief was Alex Wright. He has the distinction of being Hartland's first firefighter. After the firefighters successfully complete their training, they are assigned a number. Jennifer Danke has been doing a lot of research on the history of the department as well as the individuals who have belonged to the department. And she assigns the numbers as the firefighters complete their training. I happen to be number 254. If you'd like to know what your number is, you can ask Jennifer, and she will be able to tell you. But what I found astounding and just amazing to me is that myself and Bruce Danke, and I know some of the officers, and I even know some of the firefighters, we actually served with firefighter number 3, Don Epley. And when Don Epley was in his 80s and his 90s, he still came up to the fire department in the middle of the night during a fire run. He would still be very busy doing chores in the fire department. And we learned an awful lot from him. And I just know that Don Epley and Alex Wright and the other 13 men, they would be so proud and so pleased from what they started if they knew the men and women who serve on the department today. They would be very proud. Tonight we're here to honor all of you firefighters. You are essential to the safety and security of our communities. Many times throughout the year, our constituents come up to me and they say to me how amazed they were to see our firefighters and first responders work at scenes. And sometimes those scenes can be pretty difficult. So on behalf of the people of Hartland Township and the people of Deerfield Township, we want to thank you for your commitment, thank you for your dedication, and thank you for help keeping our communities safe. Thank you. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Joe. At this time, I would like to invite our current Fire Association President to the podium, Matt Whitmore. Come on up, Matt.
On behalf of the Hartland-Deerfield Fire Association, I would also like to welcome everyone here tonight. I'd like to first thank all of our staff, especially the Association Board. I would like to thank all the spouses and families and thank all of you that support us at our events. As the new president, it is my pleasure to introduce the new Association Board. Vice President Ryan Bennett, Secretary Andrew Kopik, Treasurer Daniel Ignani, Activities Chairperson Zach Kamos, and Assistant Activities Chairperson Jeremy Thurman, Community Council Representative Todd Murray, and our Boy Scout Representative Lynn Wilkin. I have served for several years with different positions on the board, with several different firefighters, and I'd like to thank all of you, past and present, that I have served with. None of the accomplishments with the association could be done without the support of the entire fire department, staff, and I thank each and every one of you. Thank you to my wife, Tammy, for her support. We had another successful year for the association with the calendar year of 2017. The association spent over 775 hours of community outreach. These activities included parking cars at Winterfest event, provided a safe ride home to those in need during the St. Patrick's Day at Mackles. The 13th annual golf outing had 133 players with several sponsors. The golf outing raised money for the association fund in order to support other functions. The 8th annual pheasant hunt provided funding for Christmas family adoptions. Collecting toys at Myers and Target for the Christmas family adoptions. At the Fantasy Lights Parade in Howell, the crew, along with Ladder 61, were awarded the best decorated vehicle. Santa Day provided a North Pole atmosphere for children of all ages. Christmas family adoptions assisted 17 families in providing help with joyous holiday season. The association throughout the year provided support as needed for families of the Hartland-Deerfield Fire Authority jurisdiction. The importance of the association with community impact is seen year after year, with last year being no exception. The community outreach not only makes an impact on our residents, but the staff of organization as well. Most of what this organization does is to respond to someone at the possible worst day of their life. The association has opportunities to take the next step within our community by providing a need or want that is not necessarily able to be accomplished in our day-to-day activities. Although all events are important to the community, the Christmas family adoption is by far the most fulfilling to all of those involved. A struggling family unable to provide any sort of Christmas for their family is unimaginable to most. When we surprisingly knock on their door and explain why we are there in order to help them, providing a Christmas to their family is overwhelming. The association will help of donors of all sorts in the community is able to provide dinner, including a ham and many of the side items, and plenty of gifts for the children. Family recommendations can be made through schools, churches, or by talking to any employee of the fire department. Thus far, we have been able to fulfill every request during the Christmas season each year. I look forward to continue many of the events from previous years, as well as opportunities to further the impact of the association in other areas or events. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of you guys' evening.
We will now begin our first category of awards for this afternoon, years of service. Our first group of awardees are those having 3 years of service with our organization. Would the following awardees please join us on stage? Firefighter Nolan Anderer, Firefighter Dan Ignani, Firefighter Jeremy Thurmond, and Firefighter Tyler Verbecki. Come on up, gentlemen. Congratulations, gentlemen. Our next group of awardees are those holding 5 years of service with the department. The following personnel, please join us on stage. Firefighter Brian Cooley, Firefighter Tyler Small, and Firefighter Aaron Waldron. Our next awardee has 10 years of service with the department. Sergeant Zach Komlos, please join us on stage. Our next group of awardees hold 15 years of service. Following, please join us on stage, Firefighter Mark Langenstein. I don't believe Mark made it this afternoon, and Firefighter Brian White. Please come on up. Recently, the department has had two individuals retire. One you heard about earlier, Becky Neal. We will miss you, Becky. And Fire Marshal Bernardin. I think Mike just made it in from Washington. Mike? Mike's been with us for 20 years. If the two of you could please join us on stage. Chief Carroll would like to say a few words of appreciation.
Earlier, we spoke of qualities like integrity, servant leadership, selflessness, outcome-oriented outlook, and a positive, all-in attitude. Combined with a dedication to serving the community is the mark of an outstanding individual. These two took our shared values of investment in prevention and serving our fellow firefighters to the next level. It's people like you who understand and believe in our mission and work tirelessly with a smile, making better outcomes for our residents, better experiences for our staff, and a focus on continual improvement of our service. People like you are the ones who make Hartland-Deerfield Fire Authority the success it is today. To recognize your retirement, we would like to present you with some gifts and wish you all the best, trusting we will see you around the station to catch up on what's happening. Becky and Mike, thank you for your commitment to your commitment and service to our community.
For those of you that don't know, I've been gone for about a year, last March, and I took a job with FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and I picked a heck of a year to join, that's for sure. But one thing that I learned is that out of all the years that I've been here, I'm very honored and proud to call Hartland my home. It makes me realize, how many great people that we have that not only live in this community, but serve the community. And you guys truly are very hard workers and heroes within the community. Just the leadership, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, what do I want to say something? And if I do, what do I talk about? And I could tell so many great stories, from Don Epley back in the day, all the way to Greg and Adam and all of you really. It's just been fantastic. And one thing that has been instilled in me is the hard work, teaching me the lessons needed to move on. And really, without Hartland and without these fine men and women that are here, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. They've been great mentors. And I guess that's about it. I just want to say thank you very much. It's been an honor, and this is very nice. Thank you.
Thank you again, Mike and Becky, for your years of service with our department. We wish you the best of luck with your future endeavors. Our next category of awards is that of promotions. This afternoon, we do have a few promotions. All of those promotions are, of course, a stepping stone in one's future individually and with our department as a whole. Our first promotion is that of a new cadet. I would like to point out that many of our current firefighters and officers, and even some chief officers here today, began in our cadet program, or what was once known as our junior program, many years ago. What you see around us in this room is proof positive of the opportunity you are being afforded. But make no mistake about it, while this department provides this opportunity to you, the challenge to succeed and achieve what you see before you falls only on you. To our current cadet, Lauren Thorpe, I wish you luck and success. To our future cadets, we look forward to meeting you and affording you this challenge. In addition to our cadet promotion, we do have a firefighter promotion. The position of firefighter is the foundation for all fire service operations and is the most important title that each of us can have regardless of rank. Congratulations to Dave Binkowitz, as he has successfully completed almost 400 hours of the Livingston County Fire Academy and Medical First Responder Training. Dave is now licensed in the state of Michigan as a firefighter. In addition to the state requirements, Dave has also completed a comprehensive internal on-the-job program which ensures minimum departmental competencies and knowledge beyond that learned in the academy, encompassing over 50 more hours of training above and beyond the state requirements. Congratulations, Dave, and welcome to the hot zone. Our final promotion this afternoon is for that of sergeant. The Fire Authority currently provides full-time staffing 24/7 and requires that incident companies are led by competent leaders. The first levels of leadership in our organization are the position of sergeant. The promotional process for sergeant is a competitive testing process which includes a written examination, scenario and situation-based panel interview, and finally the dreaded chief's interview. The sergeant positions provide a critical leadership at the station level with an emphasis on training and operational preparedness. Congratulations to our two new sergeants, Sergeant Ryan Bennett and Sergeant Jennifer Whitbeck. I would like to please welcome on stage our newly promoted individuals. These individuals will be sworn in and given an oath by Chief Carroll. In addition to the promoted individuals, I would like to invite your chosen pinners as well. Come on up, ladies and gentlemen. Cadet Lauren Thorpe. Lauren will not be pinned, however, she still will be sworn in. Firefighter Dave Binkowitz and wife Peggy. Sergeant Ryan Bennett, I don't believe Ryan was able to attend this afternoon. And Sergeant Jennifer Whitbeck and her husband Mike.
I declare that I recognize the oath of my office as a symbol of the fire department and public faith and trust. I will strive to achieve the objectives and ideals that the fire service instills, committing myself to the principles and practices of the firefighting profession. Raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I swear to protect the people and property of our community against fire and other perils. I recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of the fire department and the public's faith and trust. I dedicate myself to the saving of life, preventing and suppressing fires, and serving our community. I accept this obligation as my responsibility. These promises upon my own. Bend on this road, it just changes up a little bit. Are you ready? Make sure I'm on the way here. So if you raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. As a fire officer of the department,
As a fire officer of the department,
it is my fundamental duty
it is my fundamental duty
to serve the people
to serve the people
I have sworn to protect
I have sworn to protect
through continual improvement
through continual improvement
of my proficiency in fire service.
of my proficiency in fire service.
I recognize the badge of my office
I recognize the badge of my office
as a symbol of the fire department
as a symbol of the fire department
and my promise
and my promise
to never send a firefighter into a situation
to never send a firefighter into a situation
that I would not enter into myself.
that I would not enter myself.
I accept this obligation
I accept this obligation
as my responsibility
as my responsibility
and make these promises
and make these promises
upon my honor.
upon my own.
Our next awards are for educational achievement. The following personnel will receive awards for their educational accomplishments this past year. Will the following four personnel please join us on stage? Firefighter Jennifer Whitbeck, Firefighter Josh Hollister, Sergeant Greg Scotty II. I don't think Greg was able to make it this afternoon, and Captain Jake Thompson. Please join us on stage. Chief would like to present your awards and say a few words.
Training, education, and experience. Which is more important? Let's attempt to pull apart those components and see which one we can live without. In a business as unforgiving as the fire service, training is essential for survival. Training is, according to Mr. Webster, a skill, knowledge, or experience acquired by one that trains. In training, we frequently hear about increasing or improving our knowledge and skills. However, we don't frequently hear about improving our experience in training. But that's what training is doing, providing you with an experience upon which you can base future decisions given similar circumstances. Anytime you're faced with a decision or a situation, you subconsciously try to compare that situation to a similar one that you've experienced in the past. This is what makes experience so important. But make no mistake, experience is a hard teacher. As an anonymous writer once noted, experience gives you the test first and the lessons afterward. This means that the more frames of reference or similar situations we have stored in our heads, the more efficient our decision-making will be. As Admiral Ashley Burke of the U.S. Navy once wrote, "In the heat of battle, you don't remember very much. You don't think very fast. You act by instinct, which is really training. So you've got to be trained for battle so that you will react exactly the way you did in training." Education provides us a foundation from which we continually learn, train, and gain experience. For many, education begins in preschool, where we're taught basic communications, socializing skills, as well as lifelong lessons such as sharing and how important naps are. Education will increase our knowledge base. More importantly, it will allow us to benefit from the learning of others' experiences. Someone once said, "Learn from other people's mistakes. You won't live long enough to make them all yourself." So be sure, training, experience, and education are equally important components of what enables us to improve our knowledge, skills, and ability. Today, we recognize these folks for their educational accomplishments in 2017. Specifically, firefighter now Sergeant Jennifer Whitbeck completed her NFPA registration as a Fire Inspector 1. Jennifer, congratulations. Firefighter Josh Hollister completed his emergency medical technician. He's now licensed in all 50 states and 6 territories. It's true. Sergeant Greg Scotty completed his public safety pilot's license for unmanned aircraft systems. And Captain Jake Thompson successfully completed quite a grueling 10-month program at Eastern Michigan University called Fire Staff and Command Executive Leadership Program. Congratulations to all 4 of you. I almost forgot. This is the part where I get to go off script and ignore the green stuff. So specifically, Josh's performance at EMT was a first-time pass on the National Registry exam, which is not very common. Well done, Josh. Jen actually juggled her Inspector 1 while she's still in the basic EMT program. Not sure how she pulled that off. These folks, all of us, the folks you see down here in blue wearing these badges and these funky get-ups that look like monkey suits, that I can't tell you their level of commitment and compassion for what they do, what we do collectively. It is absolutely amazing to me and extraordinarily impressed. And the last one, and I think I mentioned it the last time, so Captain Thompson here certainly completed that program and also finished, I think, number 1 or 2 on his GPA, finished 2 or 3 on his research project. Just an outstanding performance. So great work to all of you. Thank you very much.
Okay, we will now begin our next category of awards. These are unit citations. For these awards, we will be calling upon the incident commander of that particular emergency to either distribute and or discuss some of the specifics of each event and present the awards to the awardees. When your name is called, please join us on stage. Our first of the unit citations is for incident 206 on March 22nd of 2017. This was a structure fire under the command of Captain Jake Thompson. Jake will be recognizing the following personnel, so please join us on stage. Lieutenant Rob Lehman, Sergeant Todd Murray, Sergeant Zach Kamlos, and Firefighter Mike Randall, who I don't believe was able to make it this afternoon either. Captain Thompson would like to discuss the incident and present the awards.
We good? All right. So there are very few circumstances in life where the difference of a couple seconds can mean completely change the outcome of an event. Firefighting is one of them. On March 22nd, 2017, Hartland Fire was dispatched to a reported structure fire in Deerfield Township. Sergeant Zach Colmos responded direct and was the first to arrive on scene. It is the decision of the first arriving incident commander that sets the tone for the entire incident and often determines the outcome. The driveway to the home was set back in the middle of a blind corner, and the home itself was set back deep into the woods, not visible from the roadway. Sergeant Colmos had the foresight to drop a turbo flare at the entrance of the driveway, providing Engine 63 a clearly marked path to the location of the home. Those couple seconds that it saved Engine 63 definitely affected the outcome of the event. Upon arrival, the crew from Engine 63 quickly deployed a hand line and began to pull the soffits above the front porch. This revealed a working fire extending through the void space across the entire front of the home and into the void space above the garage. Engine 63's crew quickly and efficiently extinguished the fire and aggressively overhauled the fire area, preventing further damage to the home. And it is this that we're recognizing the following firefighters for their quick actions. We recognize these individuals.
Our next unit citation is for an EMS call that occurred on November 18th this last year. Would Sergeant Ron Duncan, I believe we just had a fire call, so Ron is staffing today, so he's not going to make it up, and Firefighter Jeremy Thurman, please join us on stage. Chief Carroll would like to discuss this incident and present the awards.
No pressure, Jeremy. You're going to have to cover for your Sarge. Primary reason I picked this incident was that fully engaged, always on, looking for opportunities, recognizing the exceptional performance of Brush 61 while returning from an EMS call, actually. They had responded to an EMS call and were on their way back when they heard that same Alpha unit requesting Howell Fire to assist them as they had pulled over during transport of their patient to perform CPR. They just happened to catch that up, monitoring EMS frequency, heard Howell's dispatch, went, gosh, we're really close to that. Went out of their way, even though it was out of district, to call them and say, hey, we're right here, right? Would you like us to come over? And it was about a 2.5-mile trip for them. So regardless of the district lines, they headed that way, radioed that they were available for assistance. Certainly EMS accepted because they do that. And Brush 61 arrived, assisted with CPR, including the use of the auto pulse, which is just an enormous asset that we have. So recognizing the outstanding example of doing the right thing all the time and looking for opportunities to make a difference. For that, we commend Sergeant Ron Duncan and Jeremy Thurman. Thank you.
Our next awards are life-saving awards. The first life-saving award, we will have 7 different incidents grouped into one presentation based on them being somewhat similar incidents. Chief Carroll again will be presenting for these incidents. Again, there's 7 of them all to one. When your name is called, please join us on stage. Captain John Danke, Lieutenant Matt Whitmore, Sergeant James Bretz, come on up, gentlemen, Sergeant Greg Scotty II, Firefighter Ryan Bennett, Firefighter Gerald Kopic, Firefighter Josh Hollister, Firefighter Dan Ignani, Firefighter Tyler Small, Firefighter Jennifer Whitbeck, and Firefighter Brian White.
So earlier I mentioned the few minutes we'll spend on the stuff firefighters dread, and this is it. The reason for that And the reason these folks are coming up in a large group has a lot to do with, honestly, everything we've been talking about: training, preparation, readiness, response, looking for opportunities to serve, and capitalizing on them when they arise. All really so we can try to make somebody's day, at a bare minimum, a little better. While we don't disclose personal information about the people we serve, your patients are alive today because of you. These awardees intervened in the use of life-saving skills, including the use of cardiopulmonary resuscitation, automatic external defibrillator, the auto pulse compression device, or Narcan administration. We're recognizing your exceptional performance and quick actions that resulted in the patient's full recovery outcome. You most definitely saved a life. For that, we commend the list of folks that are up here, and I'm going to read through them again. And the significance here is this. These are literally lives saved from an EMS response in 2017 in our community. Captain John Denke for 1, Lieutenant Matt Whitmore for 2, Sergeant James Bretz, 2, Sergeant Ron Duncan, Sergeant Zach Komlos, Sergeant Dave Korpanik, Sergeant Greg Scotty for 2, Firefighter Ryan Bennett, Firefighter Gerald Kopic for 2, Firefighter Josh Hollister, Firefighter Dan Ignani, Firefighter Tyler Small, Firefighter Jennifer Whitbeck for 3, and Firefighter Brian White. Did you guys get lost? Our sincerest, and I am quite confident your patients' sincerest thank yous and appreciation for a job well done. Good work.
Our next life-saving award is for Incident 276 on April 17th of 2017. This incident is a search and a medical emergency. This life-saving incident was under the command of Sergeant Ron Duncan. Would the following personnel please join us on stage? Lieutenant Matt Whitmore, Firefighter Aaron Waldron, Firefighter Jen Whitbeck, and Firefighter Brian White. Please join us. Sergeant Duncan would like to discuss the incident. However, again, he just was dispatched to a crash, so I will take care of it for him. Call 276, they were dispatched for a medical emergency with a patient being lost in the woods. And this was at night in the area of Hartland Road and Gordon Road. Upon arrival, Central Dispatch informed the crew that the caller was on the phone and knee-deep, lost somewhere in swamp water and in the woods. They called for a survival flight to assist from the air in locating the subject. These firefighters also utilized thermal imaging cameras, and with the assistance of survival flight were able to locate the lost patient and get him into the care of awaiting paramedics. Ron felt, if not for the above-mentioned personnel, the outcome would not have been what it was, and for that we commend these individuals. Thank you.
So you talked me into it. So I'll freewheel a little bit. And Matt made the comment, we almost lost the brush truck that day. These guys were, in the swamp, retrieving this poor guy, and did an unbelievable job and were relentless in locating him. And then, holy cow, did they work hard getting this guy out. They were pretty much exhausted by the time they got to someplace that was actually terra firma you could walk on. And it was, well, an adventure during the cleanup process for sure, but outstanding work by all of you. Thank you.
Our next life-saving award is for incident number 655 on September 27th last year. This was a hazmat and EMS emergency. Deputy Chief Scotty was the incident commander. Would the following personnel please join us on stage? Lieutenant Terry Conklin, Sergeant Greg Scotty, Firefighter Mike Esper, Dan Ignani, Firefighter Aaron Waldron, and Jennifer Whitbeck once again. I think a couple of these personnel aren't here this afternoon, but the ones that are, please join us on stage. Deputy Chief Scotty would like to discuss the incident and present the awards.
I think I got 4 of them that didn't want to join me. Okay. Many of our awards tonight are based on outcomes. But for a firefighter, one of the most difficult things is not knowing the outcome. In this particular instance, we had a contractor, not from our area, not by a long shot, who was then taken away by LCA. And with patients' rights nowadays and privacy, it is very, very difficult for us to get outcomes. After putting a lot of thought into this incident, the outcome wasn't the important part of this one. And much as our officers were being sworn in tonight, one of the parts of their oath is not leading their firefighters into something they would not go into. Their training, hopefully, will teach them to recognize situations where they shouldn't go into and then apply the rule. And going into our core values, safety, again, it's listed in there, obviously, the community, our residents, but ourselves. And this is one of those situations. The safety of our firefighters and being able to have them return to their families after this incident was what the priority was, and it's what's worth recognizing. When you have labels on a can that say, do not use in enclosed areas, do not use by open flame, and then you proceed to use gallons of it within the basement of a residence, you're creating a problem. When our firefighters responded to this, they were dispatched to an unknown medical person down. No more response. Medical truck goes to crew, whoever else is available responds direct. Partway to the incident, they get a call stating that possible chemical involved. Well, glad they at least had that little bit of highlight, but upon arrival, as soon as they started to walk towards the door, they picked up a odor that was definitely not something normal and drew great concerns. So for their own safety, safety of their crews, they pulled back, waited till they had the proper PPE, full face mask, breathing air systems, and then they went into the basement and made the rescue of the gentleman that was passed out on the floor in a puddle of this chemical. Brought him up and again passed him off to Livingston County Ambulance, who proceeded to the hospital with a couple of our firefighters assisting them. And unfortunately, that's where we lose the contact and the knowledge of what happened to this individual. But again, I think the priority is recognizing that the training has paid off, their self-preservation kicked in, and they did not put themselves or their fellow firefighters in harm's way by running into a situation that was definitely detrimental to them. So for that, I recognize you all.
This next award is given by the chiefs and recognize non-response related excellence throughout the year. Thorough preparedness and preparation are the hallmarks of our business and essential to our success. Our recognition of this individual emphasizes the great value that they provide year-round to the authority and to our community. It is now my pleasure to introduce both Chief Scotty again and Chief Eckert to present a Meritorious Service Award.
Some of you may recall when we did this a couple years ago, I had to read for Greg because he didn't bring his glasses. This year they did us both a favor and put this in like 20-point font, so that was pretty nice of them.
And I brought 2 pairs of glasses.
And he brought 2 pairs of glasses, so we're not going to make that mistake again. But each year, Deputy Chief Scotty and I are asked to select an individual that represents the best of the best on our department. Well, it's one of our favorite privileges. It's never really an easy task. That is not because we can't find someone, but because, as the chief mentioned earlier, there are so many that are worthy to choose from. This year's a little bit different in the sense that we both landed on the same choice. And so after some arm wrestling, a couple spirited rounds of rock, paper, and scissors, and eeny, meeny, miny, we grew up a little bit and decided that maybe we could just jointly present this. And so that's what we decided on. In fact, we realized that the great value of this person really required or actually deserved the collective appreciation of the both of us for this award. Our selection is not the traditional firefighter. In fact, she's not a firefighter at all. Not that we didn't try. She nonetheless has been a great asset to us over the past 8 years, aiding us not only in the accounting and bookkeeper roles, but also as a huge asset to our human resources functions, including recruiting, promotional processes, assessment centers, and related functions. She aided us in the enhancement of our annual performance evaluations, which also include mid-year reviews, and she has been instrumental in the development or improvement of several HR policies and procedures, position descriptions, and perhaps the crowning achievement, our employee handbook. The biggest and arguably most difficult part of all this was tracking down a full-time chief, who wasn't always super accessible because he tends to get involved with a lot of things, and 2 part-time deputy chiefs with some pretty crazy work and travel schedules to try to make sure that these projects were completed. In a word, she became the glue that held these projects together and saw them to completion. She has started a lot of initiatives that will continue long after she retires in 5 years. Right? 5 years? Nobody told me. All right. We could go on and on about her work tasks here, but the reality is that in a few years, we may not vividly remember all the numbers that she crunched, or all the projects that she worked on, or how many times she tackled us in the hallway to get a signature or get us to finish something and make sure that we actually got the final product out the door. But we'll remember is her warm, bright smile, her infinite and contagious positive energy, her willingness to help anyone who ever asked. The good news is that we'll still have her around for a few more months, and I'm confident that she'll help transition her duties well to Tanya Petrucci. We know that Tanya will do well also, and she'll develop her own approach, style, and talent to the role that Becky started. With that being said, Becky, please don't be a stranger, and please know that there's still a set of turnout gear here for you if you ever want to come by and give it a whirl. It's a privilege to give our combined Meritorious Service Award to our colleague and friend, Becky Neal. Yes, you have to come up. I know Greg wants to say a few words too, so stay here with me for a minute and get embarrassed.
Mine are very brief, but I did want to thank Becky specifically because remembering a few of the things that my father would say about me, I know I can be difficult to deal with, and she's found her ways around that and done well. And my accounting skills are truly more like a home checkbook, so she has managed to do 2 sets of books, one that everybody else recognizes and one that I recognize. So I do appreciate and recognize the additional work that you put into that and greatly appreciate it. As Mike said so eloquently, you will be missed, but you will always be remembered. Thank you.
Now, I just want to say that this has been just an honor and a privilege to be with this organization. I love all you guys and girls and everybody involved with our department. It's just been just wonderful, you know, coming in without any fire experience or being associated with any kind of a fire organization. I have learned so much, just the terms, all of the dedication, all of the commitment that these men and women put in. It's just been wonderful to be a part of that and to learn, and it's just made me a better person all the way around, and I've thoroughly loved my time here, so thank you all so much.
Our next award this afternoon is a Lifetime Achievement Award. Chief Adam Carroll and Chief Scotty will be presenting.
All right. So, thank you, Trey. I'd like to take a moment to frame the history and the intent and the process for this award. It's taken the participation of many people since December 28th, 1927, as Chairman Petrucci mentioned in the beginning, in Gannon's garage when those folks gathered to officially start our fire department. From that moment, we've been shaped by those folks to initiate, develop, provide, and continually strive to improve the fire service in our community. On that list, in my humble opinion, are some of the best and most caring folks for our community, and that's you. Among the folks on that list are a precious few who, by their account, will tell you they were fortunate to have had the opportunity. I will tell you our community was blessed to have had them for their outstanding, long-term, community and department changing effects they had on us. They were instrumental in making us who we are, what we do today. People like Alex Wright, Walt Goss, Don Epley, Frank Hultberg, Jack Magnus, Art Lampy, just to name a few. Walt Goss was a founding member of the Hartland Township Fire Department on December 28th and was fire chief for 31 of his 37 years in service to our community. To recognize Walt Goss for his dedication and contribution to the fire department, the Lifetime Achievement Award has been named in his honor. The purpose of this award is to promote a single example of achievement that personifies the character and dedication of leadership in the fire department. To be an awardee is a recognition of an entire life's work, on duty as well as off duty, community service, helping other firefighters, promoting goodwill, high moral standing, and is achieved through no single act. Would the following honored guests, if you're with us this evening, please join us on stage. First, our prior Lifetime Achievement Award winners, along with those who have had the opportunity, anyone in this room, to work with Assistant Chief Ralph Monroe. Please join us on stage. This award is given to an individual who has performed at the highest levels of leadership in this organization on behalf of this fire department and our community through their commitment, service, and conduct. These characteristics are not restricted to heroic action, but encompass all aspects of professionalism and are measured against a statement by John Quincy Adams, who said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, or do more and become more, you are a leader." I am exceptionally proud to call this gentleman one of my mentors and inspirations. Ralph's actions were instrumental in leading our department into additional needed focus on people, our people. From coaching and mentoring to evaluations and personnel development, Ralph was a master at making personnel personal. Of particular note, he was a strong proponent of training and education, in addition to his attitude of, we're all here to work, so let's get to it. In fact, that's what I remember and love most about Ralph, his care for everyone. His ability to roll up his sleeves and get involved, whether packing hose or talking to you about anything, Ralph was involved, engaged and focused, always open, helping us improve and grow, both as a department and as a person. That said, my first interactions with Ralph were likely my most embarrassing. There was a group of 4 of us who would ride with Ralph in his Suburban out to Fowlerville for Firefighter 2 class back in, well, I'm not going to tell you when. I enjoyed and learned a lot from these commuting conversations, but completely missed many opportunities when he would say, well, we had to grow up fast because of the war. Being too young or not being thoughtful enough to realize that this was not a cliche. I would lightly chuckle and move along in the conversation. Like Ralph would always do, he would let me off the hook, even though I didn't deserve it. He was masterful at giving you an answer by helping you find it through conversation and questions. Never offended, always the patience of a saint. Over time, I got a little wiser, and recaptured the opportunity to think and learn from our conversations about growing up fast. I'm forever thankful for that. Chief Scotty's going to have a few words, but I'm sure you'll join me in posthumously recognizing this year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Assistant Chief Ralph Monroe. And Ralph and his family, thank you for joining us. Chief?
Last couple of years have been difficult. My time with this department has been long. And I have made a lot of friends, and I have an extended family beyond what I can imagine and be thankful for. The Monroes are part of that family. Ralph was taken from us way too soon, and we did not get the opportunity to recognize him while he was still here for what he contributed to us. Now, I agree with everything Adam said. The professionalism in Assistant Chief Ralph Monroe was top-notch, better than all. But there was another side to Ralph, and we thank Sean for that. Sean, I used to enjoy the stories from your dad, and I would look at him and I would say, that was me, Ralph, many years ago. And I would get that strange look from him, no way, I'm like, it was. But I said, let me tell you something, Ralph. Sean has always been respectful to me. He's always said hi to me. He served our country. Said, I've got a lot of respect for Sean. And Ralph would kind of shake his head and grin and goes, yeah, me too. So I keep those memories alive. I keep the parties that we had at our house alive. And I just hope that through the years our stories pass on to others and Ralph's legacy will always live on. We were we had a lot of discussions before this moment came to be today. We weren't sure how the family's reaction would be. And when I finally got the nerve together and could keep my voice from quaking, and gave Miss Devon a call, said, what do you think? I instantly knew this was the right thing. And I'm honored to see all of you here. And I'm especially honored because a piece of Ralph is standing up on the stage right now. And there is a badge that's being worn that stays in somebody's shadow box every day and only comes out on special occasions such as this. And again, I want to thank you for bringing that with you tonight. So with no further ado, I'm going to pass this back to Adam and take care of business.
So we have a couple of tokens, absolutely, well, they're merely tokens, I gotta be honest. Obviously, you know our feelings for your family and for Ralph. Thank you so much for being with us. An opportunity to recognize, talk about, remember, and just, thank you. There you go.
Okay, I hope I can get through this. Please excuse my voice, I'm getting over a cold. All of you who know Ralph know that he loved the fire department. It was his second home. He considered all the firefighters he worked with as his family, their families, his family. There were times when I wasn't too thrilled with the fire department, and those times were at 3 o'clock in the morning, when the fire radio would go off, he would stumble out of bed and then wake me and say, do you know where this road is? Ralph had no sense of direction. But he did love the fire department. And on behalf of our family, our children, Devin and Jeff, Sean and Karen, Caitlin and Tony, and our grandchildren, Ian, Gwyneth, and little Martin, who is sitting over there, who, by the way, is named after Ralph. I'm sure many times the firefighters that worked with him can remember hearing me say, Ralph Martin, behave yourself, because he was always up to no good. So on behalf of the family, I'd like to thank you very much for this award. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now, for the most anticipated award of the evening, generally speaking anyway, announcement of the 2017 Firefighter of the Year. It's presented by myself and the 2016 Firefighter of the Year, Lieutenant Rob Lehman. Ron, if you'd join us on stage. Firefighter of the Year is one of the highest honors that can be earned by a current member of the fire department. It represents the spirit, the performance, the aptitude, the ability, the participation, the positive attitude that's visible to others in the department. Nominations are made by any member of the department, along with associated letters of support and other documentation. From there, a Firefighter of the Year Awards Committee is assembled to evaluate the winner. This committee is made up of all current department chief officers, the prior firefighter, or the current, I suppose, at the time, Firefighter of the Year awardee, and a Hartland-Deerfield Fire Authority board member. The committee thoroughly evaluates the nominations for information and chooses by consensus, considering attributes such as, is the firefighter a model for others? Is the firefighter committed to the department's mission? Do they act in ways consistent with our mission, culture, and reputation? Do they focus on productive outcomes? Do they maintain a positive attitude? Do they strive to do their best each and every day? This Firefighter of the Year awardee has been exceptionally engaged and involved in many aspects of our organization since his day of hire. He's consistently in the top group for training and incident response participation. He reflects an image that is consistent with the mission of the department and embodies words like integrity, positive, consistent, reliable, and many others. In addition, the time invested on everything from firefighter association events and activities like Santa Day, the golf outing, pheasant hunt, even Winterfest, to events around the stations and our staff, including being an aerial platform operator, always eager to train and mentor, and being one of the chefs on our annual Jeopardy dinner. These and many other reasons make this awardee an outstanding choice, including balancing all of this with his wedding in 2017. Which brings me to this. Speaking of balancing, he had a commitment with that new wife that he had to be somewhere else today and was not able to get out of that. We'll let him off the hook this time. However, it's my privilege to announce the recipient of the 2017 Firefighter of the Year Award, Sergeant Ryan Bennett. Traveling helmet, for those of you that are not aware, you can see it on the end of the table there, that goes to the current, stays with the current Firefighter of the Year. And Rob would have presented that helmet to Ryan this evening. In addition to that, we would have taken the shield off of it for 2016 and plaqued it to present to Lieutenant Lehman for his keepsake. So, Rob, congratulations on it. Year well done.
So I usually close the award ceremony with critical safety topics like smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, or no ice is safe ice, and even the dangers of texting while driving. While they are no less critical, this year I won't do that, as I trust you will all be changing your smoke alarm batteries next month with the time change. We haven't rescued any of you through the ice last year, so I know you're all good listeners. And lastly, you are all wonderful role models, so I know you will not be driving distracted. I will leave you with this, though. Just recently, Chief Carroll had a unique individual speak at one of our trainings. He was a chief from a department in Michigan on the west side of the state, and he had some real-life challenges personally and professionally. If we knew him, you or I would probably never know any of his challenges or what he had been through or is even currently going through, again, both personally or professionally. I'll be honest, his speech was a little all over the map. He was a little hard to follow, and he had more energy than anyone I think I've ever met, but he was very knowledgeable. One thing that stuck with me from his training, or from his speaking that evening, was something he repeated a few times. He spoke about paying it forward. He spoke about instances that lifted his spirit and helped him in his personal morale and helped him through his tough days, and he had a lot of them. Now he makes a point to do the same. I too am a big fan of the pay it forward concept, but I'll be the first to admit I need to do a little better. If you have ever been on the receiving end of a nice gesture from a stranger or a little extra help, when needed, it does amazing things. We live in a small community. We may see each other on a regular basis. We may or may not know each other, but we probably don't know each other's struggles and challenges. We all have them, some more difficult than others. It's up to all of us to make our great community even better, maybe even our personal relationships a little better. I hope one day you're on the receiving end, but more importantly, I hope you find it in yourself to, in some way, pay it forward. I suggest you try it. It's a wonderful thing. On behalf of Chief Carroll, myself, the entire department, we would like to thank you for joining us this afternoon, for your year-round support of us individually and collectively.